Hello guys. So I'm going to use this video to introduce you on the processes, my own personal process that I follow in doing my own technical analysis. The type of technical analysis I do is a top-down analysis. It means I start from the higher time frame. You can see I start from the higher time frame and slowly I move on to the lower time frame to get my entry points. So this video is mainly for swing traders and position traders. So first of all, the first time frame, though I start my analysis from the daily time frame over here, but in order to get my trend bias, I need to also reference the weekly time frame. And the first thing I want to do when I want to get my trend bias is to add my 200 period moving average. So, but before that, I want to identify my key levels on the weekly charts. Just few key levels that points us really well. I can see this level over here. I can see this one over here. And I can see this one over here. This is actually a zone. You can see it over here. So that's these are my key levels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten it using especially the zone over here. I'm going to use a rectangle tool over here to lighten it so I can delete the line so that my chart can look more clean. So this is how I lighten it, by just dragging it over. Then I delete the lines. I delete the lines. Okay. Trying to move okay. So I delete the lines. You can see. So I have my level of support over here. I have my level of support. Yes, my arrow too. I have my level of support over here. My zone or area of support over here. You can see it towards here. So that is it. Then the next thing I want to do after identifying my key levels, is to add my 200 period moving average in order to get a trend bias. So to do that, you go to indicators and you click on it. You type MA. That's moving average, and you can see it over here. And you click on it once, and you go over here to edit the setting. So I'm going to make it 200 period moving average by clicking this place. So I type 200, and then like I always do, I like using the brown color over here as my 200 period moving average. I use one color to identify each of the moving average so that when I see it on another time frame as a level, when I see it appear on another time frame, I can just say, okay, this one is brown is my 200 period moving average. There's no need of guessing. So I like to thicken it a little bit, make it a little bit thicker so that it can appear properly on my chart. So Oh, lost it. So let me do that again. MA, moving average. You click on it once and you go over to edit the settings. You go over to edit the settings. You edit here to 200. You click on style. I use brown, but you can use any color of your choice as long as you like the color and you can remember it. Okay, so because this coin is the 200 period moving average is not appearing on this coin on the weekly time frame, it means that the coin is actually, how do I say it, has not been it has not been listed for too long. You can see over here there's no more charts to look at. That's why the length of the 200 period moving average did not come out. It means that the number of candles here are probably less than 200. Let me quickly check that. You can see the number of candles here are 189 bars. It's not up to 200. That's why my 200 moving average is not showing. So what I'm going to do is, at least I want to get a trend bias on this time frame. So what I do is I add my 50 period moving average. So click on it, then I edit to 50. I like using the color blue over here to indicate my 50 period moving average. You can see, so you can see your 50 period moving average as this blue line over here, blue curvy line. So your moving average, like you know, is a dynamic market structure. It's a dynamic, it could be dynamic support or resistance depending of if price is trading above it or trading below it. So as you can see over here, price is actually trading below it. The candle, the price is below the 200 period moving average. So what you look to do is identify this level by clicking on the horizontal ray. You can use a horizontal line, but I love using horizontal ray so that it does not extend throughout my chart. So I click on horizontal ray and I go over to the tip of the 50 period moving average and I put it. Then I like to edit the color of this horizontal ray that I just added. I like to edit it to the actual color of the moving average that I'm using it to identify. So in this case, it is blue. So you can see over here the moving average and my horizontal ray. So you can see the price is that the moving average is trading. The price is trading below the 50 period moving average, and the current price right now is $48.7 on Litecoin USD. But the 50 period moving average is where you have your area of value is 68.8 USD. So that is it. I have identified my uh, my key area on the weekly time frame. I don't need to do much over here. So the next thing I could just look to do is just strike this trend line. I can choose to use another color for my trend line. So let me just use something deeper. I don't want black. Let me use this. So I use this golden color as my trend line. So you can you can see you have a confluence zone over here. Let me point it out with an arrow. You have a confluence. Look at where the arrow is pointing to. You have a confluence zone of your trend line and your 50 period moving average. You can see my trend line, the golden, and the 50. This is a confluence zone. So that's an area of value. That's an area that the price could potentially come to. And what I can see there is around there $62. So what I can see there is around there $62. So that's an area of value. That's a place on your chart you want to look at for. So you see, I started my analysis from the weekly time frame, identify my trend, get my trend bias. So the next thing you want to be doing is that you can actually start from the daily. It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. You can start from the daily, but I just use weekly. But as a swing trader or as a position trader, the daily is where you should be starting from. But like I said, this is just my own technique. You don't have to follow it. You can look to find loopholes and what better suits your type of trading. So now I'm going to move over to the daily time frame where my main analysis is going to start from. So this is the daily time frame. You can see my key levels are showing properly here. Like if you remember our earlier training, you can see you have a double top over here. Let me use arrow. You have a double top. You have a double top over here. One, and you have another top. You have another top over here. Two. And you know that double top is usually a bearish reversal chart pattern. So that's it. I'm just using that as an example, and you can see that price went down from there. So the next thing you look to do again is identifying. You can see the 200 period moving average is now appearing on my chart now. That's the blue one, because now this trading pair has more than 200 candles on the this thing, on the daily time frame. So that's it about the daily time frame. What do I need to do now on this daily time frame is that I want to look to identify my 200 period moving average, the level it is. So I'm going to add another horizontal ray, point it to the tip of my 200 period moving average and drop it there, and change the color to brown to match with my 200 period moving average. So you can see that over here now is an area of value, and you can actually see that price is trading above the 50 period moving average on the daily time frame, but it's trading below the 200 period moving average on the daily time frame. And what is that telling you? It's telling you that that is an healthy trend. The trend is healthy. So the next thing I look to do at this point again is look to draw some other key level, like look to identify another key level of support resistance. So I look over here, I can see an area that can act as a resistance. So I add it, and I can reference the bottom too and make it a zone. So I can identify it that way. But in order not to make my chart to look so clumsy or rough, I just try to use a rectangular tool to highlighting it as a zone, and then I delete those lines. So you can see it. You can see it now. So that's, I have my key level to reference to. I can look to add one over here just below the 50 period moving average and use blue as the color. Anything that I'm aligning with my 50 period moving average is always blue. So once I identify it on another time frame, I will know that okay, this this is a this is my area of a 20 period moving average. This. So what I'm going to do again now is go down to a lower time frame. Now I'm searching for my entries. I can go down to a lower. Okay, let me add a 20 period moving average at this stage. So you go to indicators, MA, moving average, click on it once. You add there. You edit it over here to 20 period moving average. I love using green for my 20 period moving average, but then that's just my choice. Again, you can use what's any color that you think you like. So this 20 period moving average, you can see it's a green over here. So I can reference this 20 period moving average as a short term support. You can see price is above 20 and 50 period moving, and over here you have the 20 period moving average crossing above the 50 period moving average. That is telling you that the price is in a strong uptrend, and you have a mini golden cross over here. You know, golden cross is when the 50 period moving average crosses above 200, but in this case you have a smaller golden cross of 20 period moving average crossing above the 50 period moving average. So what I'll do, if I see the 20 period moving average and 50 in close range like this, I don't just like picking just one area to put my horizontal ray. So what I do is that I put it between the two to use it as my area of my line of support in this case now. So I can, that's my line of support, and I can just choose to align it with this rectangular tool once again. But in this case, I'm not going to delete, just highlighting it like this to show that it's a zone of support resistance. So the next thing I'm looking at on this chart is I'm seeing a trend line coming from this point. I'm seeing a trend line. So let me look to add that right now. I'm seeing a mini trend line over there. So I look to start from here and drag up though this charts, so you can see it. So this point over here is a confluence zone, because you have your trend line, you have your moving average, and you also have your support. So it's a strong zone. That's a key level of support. It's a strong zone. You can see it. You can see this cycle over here. You have your 20 period moving average, you have your 50 period moving average, you have your trend line, and you have your support. And you see that price is trading above it. Price is trading above them. This is the zone over here. Let me highlighten it with this. This is where the zone starts from. You can see it with this box over here. That's the zone, and price is trading above it. The price currently now is in a strong uptrend. So we go down to a lower time frame. I can look to make this my middle trend line. I can look to make it a little thinner because it's not a major trend line. So I can look to edit it to make it the line, yes, so that I'm just trying to make my chart look as clean as possible. So what you do again, you go down to 4 hour time frame. You go about to 4 hour time frame and you can see your levels again. You can see, so this place over here is your key level of support, because you have the 20 you have the trend line and the 200 period moving average. In this case, 200 period moving average is now acting in 4 hour time frame. 200 period moving average, the trend line and the support zone is now acting as your area of support, where if the price should go below it, you look to get out of the trade. If the price should close the next 4 hour candle below here, below this point, let me say below this point, let me highlighten it with this. Okay, below this point over here, you can see below here, you look to, that's a 39, you look to get out of the trade. So let's go quickly head down to 1 hour time frame. So I can look, because this 200 period moving average is acting well on my chart, I can look to highlighten it again and again set it to brown. So you can see this place over here is your area of support, and this one over here is resistance, and your main area of value is around here. So that's that. Let's go to a lower time frame, 1 hour time frame. I'm trying to get entry for this market now. First of all, I know at this point the market is in an uptrend, a strong uptrend on the daily time frame. So what I'm trying to look for now is what I call entry. So for my entry, I'm going to look for it at on the 1 hour and 30 minutes time frame. So let me squeeze in a trend line over here. So we have this and we have this, forming something like a symmetrical triangle, or let's call it pennant. You can see. So you can see on this 1 hour time frame, you have a very good support over here at this region. So if you want to enter on this 1 hour time frame, you can see the price is trading above a 20 period and 50 period move. It's still in a strong uptrend at this moment. So you can look to use just put your stop loss below here. If you want to enter, you can look to put your stop loss around there here and go long on this trade with a potential to take profits around this 51, because as your first target because you know this 200 period moving average was acting as support at the 4 hour time frame, but now it's acting as resistance on a 1 hour time frame. So you can see, you can look to go long, take profits here, fast profit there, and your stop loss around here. So that's it. Let's go to 30 minutes time frame and see if there's any difference. But for that one, you can see your entry already on the 1 hour time frame. On the 30 minutes too, is still the same thing. You can go long. You can see price is approaching the upper trend line very strongly. You can go long, set your stop loss 1 ATR below this 200 period moving average. That's the brown line, and look to take profits here too. So where else can you take profits as your second target? Let me go back to 1 hour time frame. So where else can you look to take profit? You can look to take profits over here. First target, second target, because you know this trend line and it's in confluence with your area or your zone of resistance too, and that's a trend line resistance in confluence with a zone of resistance. So you can look to take profit over there. So let me just add one indicator to this. Let's say MACD indicator, MACD, MACD. So that's my this my MACD indicator here, and you can see it on the 1 hour is showing a bullish momentum. So one thing about this MACD that you need to know is that once the price is showing strong momentum, like to this point, you are seeing red, 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 red. Let me identify it. You are seeing red, 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 red to this point. So once it starts going to this point, the price has started recovering, and when you see price going red, red, red to this point, and it's at to this point, you can see where I ended, where the thicker red is. So once price is there, and you can see that the price is around the support, in this case you have the price around here. You can see that the price is around support, and you have a price rejection candlestick pattern, like maybe an hammer. You can see over here, like maybe an hammer. So that's when you can see what I'm trying to say. That's when you look to get long. So another way to do this again is using this MACD cross. You can look to start going short where you notice that the blue line wants to cross below the orange line, and you can look to start going long when you notice that the blue line wants to cross above the orange line. So that's how you use it for signal buyers. So in this case, on the 1 hour time frame, you can see price is trying to break this. If you ask me, you can look to go long on this, and on the lower time frame you can also do one thing again. Add your 9-period moving average to act as support, because it follows the price closely. So I type MA again, moving average. I click on it once and I edit. Already it's already 9. I like using black as my 9-period moving average, and I don't usually make it too thick on my distance. So you can see the 9-period moving average, the black. Let me just make it thick so that it will be more obvious to you. So you can see the 9-period moving average over here. That price is trading above it. That is what I call super strong trend. This coin right now is really, really bullish. So what you can do, if you want to take this trade now, you can look to go long. For me, I'll go long and put my stop loss somewhere here. Or if I want to follow the trade for a long time, I put my stop loss here. So this, looking at this now, if you enter here, you can look to take profits around here. Immediately the price breaks out and tests this 200-period moving average, turned support, turned the resistance over here, and you can still look to take profit over here. Over here. So that's how you do your top down analysis and enter your trade. So I hope I've been able to use this to like walk you through how I go about my top down analysis. So you see this, I say when the blue line is crossing, you should look to short because it's showing you that momentum is changing to bearish, and you can see price going down over here. When it's crossing above, you should look to long because it's showing you that momentum is showing bullish, and you can see price going up over here. So that's it about this.